Hello, Borderlands community. This is I, Garukin, aka Fluffy Mr. Stumpy, and I have over 100 hours with Amon. And this is his ordnance build that I made. There's a minigun involved, and this fun little hail spike. Both with the same build, might I add. I really enjoy the minigun for mobbing. As you can see, it just mows down the enemies and freezes them, which is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Your screen is just filled with ice. So much that you can almost never see. It's great. So in this video, I will be overcapping the minigun and also the hail spike. All of them are almost dead. The bosses are about to spawn. Here they come. And now we can just sit here and fire without dying, because it's great, because we just keep getting overshield, and it is awesome. The only issue is just holding down left click and being able to aim, because your crosshairs just go all over the place with how much you have to hold down the button. But as you can see, I'm barely dying. And that's the minigun for a drill site. And now we're going to the hail spike. Hail spike's a little bit riskier because you can hurt yourself while trying to shoot at the enemies. Because there's so many explosions that happen with this gun. And we'll be going over the skill tree here just after we showcase more of this hail spike. And this is all on Vault Hunter 5 as well. And as you can see, I'm mostly damaging myself with my own projectiles here and still gaining it all back. Almost in one cluster, I gain all my overshield back. Now, I'm not sure what's going to quite happen here is I put my weapon away and I didn't have full ammo, so my ordnance went on cooldown a little bit. And that's one of the only issues with the build. If you're running the minigun, you pull something or do something else when your minigun's not at full HP, or full ammo I should say, is that your ordnance will go on cooldown. But thankfully with the hail spike, it doesn't have a large cooldown because of how low the ammo is. But you're able to keep up all your ammo because of how this build works. And now we'll go over my build completely. We are using high caliber as a set. I could be using 2 other pieces, but at the moment, I do not have that. High caliber gives us projectile speed is increased by 25%, gun damage is increased by 10%, and bullets pierce enemies. This is very important for hail spike, not necessarily the minigun, but hail spike lets us fire two projectiles at a time and spawns 3 orbs on explosion, which is very good. It's very cool. And this is going to be the interaction that it produces. So, if you shoot an enemy through, it's going to go through and explode some more. But, if you look at the ground and shoot, it's going to explode twice. Which gives you quite a bit of damage. Now, we'll go over the minigun. The minigun just has Whistler as a perk. But this gun's also fun. I didn't get to show it off, but it doesn't have high of an ammo count as the other guns, so it's kind of hard to keep up. But it produces fire on the ground, so that's pretty fun. But if you can get it to work, feel free. This build can also use a bunch of other guns, but I've only really tested the minigun and the hail spike. I have a few other hail spikes that I have too. I have a lightning one, a fire one, and I believe a radiation one. I have not got a corrosive one quite yet. But I want to show off the minigun on these test dummies to show you all the craziness that happens with this gun, with this current build that I have. So what's interesting about this is I was over here the other day and I was just casually shooting enemies. And I heard whistling from the gun. Which sounds pretty neat. I'm not really sure how the bullets kind of flew back towards me though, but I was like, huh, interesting. I found this out just as I was recording. The bullets whistle on the ground. Man, I love this game. This game is so good. Now we're going to test this gun on some dummies and kind of show you all the craziness that happens. So I'm not really sure what these interactions are doing. I don't know if it's just because the gun fires so unbelievably fast, it cannot calculate everything, because sometimes the elemental blasts that are coming out just don't seem to actually come out. It's very fun for mobbing. So right now we got shiny war paint, which gives us movement speed when we use it, which is very nice. That's why I'm using it right now. We also have this class mod, which gives us some skills that are very important. It doesn't have the perfect stats that I want, but it is what it is. We got this shield that also gives us movement speed when our shields are full and when we get over shield. Mostly so I can get the bosses quicker. And this is my enhancement. This is the best I could get for now. It just gives us some fire rate, some magazine size, whatnot. But we are currently full blue tree. Full blue tree for this build. And our class mod gives us the 3 points, which are pretty crucial to the build. It lets you refund your ordnance, which lets us continually shooting our ordnance. So for our first mod, we got ordnance damage and magazine size. Then we have cryo status effect and cryo damage over time, which is very important. We got cryo damage for our bullet hail, which does those little shards that shoot all over the place when you're shooting. And then we have this just for ricochet damage. And this is very important because this gives us overshield whenever we're dealing damage with our ordnance, which is basically all the time. And at the moment, I'm using Molten Rebuke since we're full blue tree. And I'm using the Ring of Fire aspect on it, which is quite nice. I'm not a big fan of this shield. I'm going to just say this now. You can't see. I'm going to damage myself here on purpose just to show you. How are you supposed to see anything through that? It is visually so unappealing. Yeah, it's a shame. And then the Frost Fire is pretty fun. It lets you put a big AoE on the ground and sets things on fire that are inside and does ice damage when they enter it. It also helps your allies as well.
Give me something to cry about! Send my hot hot!
And I have 1 point in this skill just so I can get the 3 points down below for more ricochet chance on my bullet hail. And this is also important that you need to put points in this to then give you more ammo for your ordnance. And I believe this is bugged at the moment. This does not actually work. I just put this in here because I wanted to test it out. It still does not seem like it's working because we're using the minigun, and I feel like I should be critting all the time with how fast it shoots. So once it's fixed, it's going to be amazing. And I have played a bunch of other builds with Amon. I'm just putting this build out there because I wanted to share it because I thought it was pretty fun. I really enjoyed his onslaught tree, probably the most. But what makes it really difficult to do other builds is the specializations. They cost an ungodly amount of resource. And these are the stats that I'm using on the left at the moment. We were trying to go for a status effect application build with Amon with the Rainbow Vomit Gun, but I found it was good, but I found it difficult to scale damage with it, so I wasn't sure what to exactly do with it. Do note, this build is not using a crit knife, so we're not doing that. We don't have damage amplification from our heal, or any sort of gimmick, any sort of brokenness that a lot of builds are currently using. So, this is to note. All this what you're seeing right now will most likely stay in the game and not get fixed or changed. Most likely. And this is going to be Saul with the minigun. I didn't have too many issues with Saul, but these upcoming bosses are going to be interesting with the minigun. So, fun thing to note, where you're standing is where he puts the green toxic. And if I had a damage amp from my heal, that would give me, say, I think it's 30% increased damage, and I would take more damage, this would give me a DPS increase for sure using this minigun. But currently we don't have that, and we're using that other heal that I showed before. And I have my mic on at this point, and we actually got a really cool Harlow mod right here. Okay. What? That's insane. Yeah, I'm excited to use that. We're currently leveling Harlow right now, starting from level 1. And this is the Hail Spike.
Your head will accompany me to the Timekeeper's side.
And if you guys are enjoying my build video, a like, a sub, and comment down below would be fantastic. It would help me out greatly. If you got this far into the video, thumbs up to you. And as you can see, the hail spike is just going to town. Very good. So there's some flaws with the minigun, and I don't really understand what is going on. It has some weird tracking, and it doesn't seem to calculate all the damage that I am doing. And I don't know if that has to be an issue with some of the ricochet stuff I'm doing. But you can see my ammo goes down quite a bit, and then it regens instantly. Goes down quite a bit, regens instantly. And at one point, I just don't regen any ammo. There, I died. And this is when we take out the hail spike again. But I realized that I don't have the right hail spike on. Fire not good against the shield. So I'm looking for my lightning one. And this is when I wish I had a corrosive one, but I don't have a corrosive one. But the silly thing is I didn't realize that you could hot swap between your ordinances. And they don't go on cooldown if you have full ammo. And this is when I probably should have used the radiation, but for some reason, I switched to fire, even though it says it's very weak to armor. Oops. But I'm just trying to show off the gun, right? Oh, it did go on cooldown. That is my bad. It did go on a slight cooldown because of switching to a different ordinance. Here I go down. There is one thing that I am quite sad about, is a lot of the bosses seem to have armor or energy shield rather than health. So you can't really use too many burn weapons. Has anyone else noticed that? Now we're going to start with the minigun again. And there's some silly interactions that happen with the minigun here on this boss fight. So the homing projectiles seem to go for the center mass instead of where I'm actually aiming. You'll notice this when he goes into his egg form. And we're almost there. Right now. So I'm going to jump up in the air, trying to aim for the weak spot up top. But it's going to try to go down below, instead of where I'm aiming. So I get closer. Then it aims downward. Now he'll fall on the ground, and it'll still go for where he was. Very odd, right? And now we're going to use the hail spike. I ran out of ammo with the minigun, and that's why I had to cut that part. Again, I should be using my lightning instead of fire. But I really don't feel like switching between the two. If I had a melee one enhancement, that would give me damage for lightning. That would also work. thought I'd get more damage there when he's laying on the ground as my projectiles pierce. Do more damage, but again, fire, lightning, don't really mix. And as you could expect, I wanted to test out Vile here with the minigun, as we just tested that last Vault monster, and the bullets were going center mass, as this one is as well. Even though I'm completely aiming at this limb here, where are all my bullets? Where are they going? I have no idea. They're just gone. They don't know where to go. So I'm not quite sure what's happening here with this interaction, but I wanted to record it and show you guys. It is so odd. I was trying very hard to kill him, but it was almost impossible with the minigun here. The bullets are just all over the place. But as you can see, I'm not dying. You know, I'm very close. Very, very close to dying. And the bullets work. Look, the bullets work there. It makes me wonder how this gun's actually functioning. Does like the first bullet put a tracker and then it just tracks on? Because when I hit the hand that one time, all the bullets went there, and then all of a sudden, just at the end there, they all went to the right. I'm not quite sure. And here we're testing the hail spike on him. It doesn't work that well. There are better weapons that I've used that kill him faster. But I just wanted to showcase this ordnance build. It's doable. As I almost blow myself up with my own gun. It happens a lot. So very much. And I thought he was done. I was getting ready for the next phase. I was like, oh. Again, I probably should be using my lightning weapon, but for some reason he's dying really quickly with the fire weapon. Maybe it's just because of this hitbox being so big, and all the explosions are just kind of hitting him at once. I believe Vile was probably one of my favorite fights in the story. One of them. And that's Vile. And this will be the last fight that we look at. And for some reason, the minigun bugged out in this fight as well. It is a very strange interaction. And I don't know if this is just because of how much damage we're doing. It just bugs the fight out. But it says I'm doing damage, and it'll eventually stop doing damage. And as you can see, my action skill isn't going down whatsoever. And my ring of fire isn't going anywhere. I am not entirely sure what happened with this minigun on this fight. But I had this happen last night, and I got sent through the air, through the level, outside the map. No idea. This is very odd. As you can see, I'm still not losing any action skill. I'm just stuck here. I'm like, what is going on? And then as soon as I start shooting like other guns and start doing other things, then it goes away. But it's so weird. I'm just like, are you gonna, is this guy gonna hurt me? He did damage to me. He sent me back flying, but I'm not taking any damage. And now I start finally losing my action skill. I don't know what causes this. Very odd. And for some reason, I got my minigun back. And again, at one point, it's just shooting for center mass, and then I lose all my ammo because it's not working properly. So I'm not really sure what's wrong with that gun. But most likes not so bad on this. Again, I wish I had a corrosive version, but. And the odd thing is, before I recorded this bit, I had to actually go to my main menu because when I came in with this hail spike, it was bugged again. So I don't know if that minigun just bugs out fights for some reason or not. Yeah, hail spike's pretty good. And these are my final thoughts of Amon. I have over 100 hours in this character. I absolutely love him. He's so very, very fun. I did so many builds with him. I used the Hot Slugger for a while. It's a fantastic gun. It works really well with some of his other skills. I was trying to do a status effect build with Rainbow Vomit. I was trying to get a Incendiary, Shock, and Cryo, but I just couldn't quite get it to drop from the boss. I have a bunch of them. I'm eventually going to try to get one that has that role and do a build with it, but we'll see when I get there. But he's a fantastic character. He has so many builds, and that is what I absolutely love about this game. This game lets you play characters however you want. I started leveling with Pyroclast. It helped me so very much at the start. It put a giant AoE around me. This lets you do a double hit melee combo. You get to do a fire punch into an ice swing, just freeze everything. And Horror Cleave you also get to freeze with. It was great. And specializations in this game, I feel like the Iridium cost is just, it's so much. I want to be able to play around with more than just one build on a character, but Iridium costs 5,000 a pop, and it's not very easy to get either. Crucible was also a very fun class to play. You can play it in so many different ways. You can have minions with this guy. Very fun. You get to throw your axe, spawns a minion. Use your ordnance, spawns a minion. Use your other big move that he gets, spawns a minion. And Searing Cold, it is phenomenal. Ice is so strong in this game. As a hard CC, you can freeze almost anything but bosses. Bosses are a little hard to freeze. I haven't done it yet. But if there's a badass that's flying in the air, freeze it. Falls to the ground, you get to shoot it. Tries to get back up again, you can freeze it again. It is fantastic. It's so fun. Another really fun passive is called Dragon's Breath. This is so very good with one pop weapons like the Hot Slugger or any Jacob's weapons that has 2-to-1 ammunition. And it pairs really well with anything that has a lot of charges on it, like this legendary knife right here that has 7. So you throw a knife, you shoot. Throw a knife, shoot. Throw a knife, shoot, and it does a lot of damage. I use that mostly for the leveling that I did with Onslaught. And at the moment, we're just running the Blue Tree. I haven't ran Blue Tree in my 100 hours of playing, and we're doing a build video on it just because of how good Ordnance actually is. I have seen other build videos of people doing crazy damage with melee, but that also uses a bug. Again, this build uses no bugs whatsoever, no gimmicks. I don't have the crit knife. I don't have the amplified damage from my healing. I don't have any points in specializations that really boost my damage. And I also don't have something else that I didn't mention yet, is a Berserk in the Onslaught tree that also stacks damage. But thank you again for watching this video. See you guys next time.